Hello, everybody. Super good morning to everyone. Here Kevin Chan. Today we are going to talk about QiMen, continuing to build out our final leak of the database. We are now talking about the 10 right? So we are at the junction of looking at Yeet Wood. The other day we just did the Jia Wood and talk about the overall background story of the QiMen stem, right? So you guys got the overall background story, right? So that one is just to make sure that the 10 stem doesn't look boring anyway. Okay, right? Or else if you just go through the list of 10 stem as per what the what you call classic book has written, a damn boring one, man. It's just a list of item only one, yeah, if you open up those books that write about QiMen stem, it is just lists of items, stuff, people, right? So but anyway, right, so good morning. So you can see that Packboy, like usual, the first one to come in, and Manuel was around, Sabrina, PJ Core, Jocelyn, Keesing is around. So how are you guys all doing, right? So today is the day of what day is today? Today is Thursday, right? So today is the Thursday, 24th. Hello, Rack. How you guys all doing, right? So very fast. It's going to be end of the month of July already, right? So fast it's done, right? So and we continue with whatever we are supposed to be doing, right? So come, you would let me shrink myself down to a smaller version first. And then as usual, right? So still like right now, guys, you want to ask any question, you want to PM me, just go to Telegram. Telegram is a good platform to PM me, right? So what you do is that you can go Telegram, you can click on my picture on any of the chat, just click on the circle picture, then there will be a menu that come out that say that you can private message, right? So you can do that, right? So again, I want to go and read stuff. Substack is a good platform, is the newsletter platform. So we basically will be sending out the monthly forecast, like tomorrow there will be a monthly forecast that is publishing on the 25th, right? So if you have not signed up yet, please again the email will only be sent out for those people who have signed up, right? So if you have signed up, then please don't go and see why the what we call the article that's already published doesn't send to me. Already published mean that they have already done the email sending. It will not send backward one. It will only send forward. So if you want anything which is forward, if you want to read anything that's backward, you can just install Substack, or you go to the computer website, you can go to Substack and you can read everything, right? So there's quite a lot of things inside that has been published that you can go and read, right? So as I rearrange everything, which is going to take a bit of a time for me, after I finish rearrange everything, I'll start publishing the book version of the 60 pillar, right? So yeah, I got a 60 pillar book, right? So people are going to ask, why don't you print it into book? You know how much is the MOQ for printing book? Unless you pay me the entire sum first, then I print the book. right, so and as usual, there's going to be the community page, right? So you can go to the community page, talk to other Chinese metaphysics and studios, right? So come, this is a QiMen chart. If you have no access to a QiMen chart, please go to Taiping Astro, which you can scan the QR code at the side, and then you can just create yourself a free version. The free version, you can also use the chart, right? So the only difference is that the structure are not being displayed. I think it's fine, right? So for you, if you are using this in a casual manner, you don't really need the structure, right? So you don't really need the structure. And by the way, as we finish the individual component, we will go into looking at structure, because in QiMen, actually a lot of time we do just very lazy. We just look at structure and we make some decision out of it, right? So that's the only difference. So you get this particular QiMen chart you can use going to Taiping Astro, right? So, and these are all the components, right? So if you are studying QiMen, there's only 4 separate components that you need to worry about, right? So now remember the bucketing that we do yesterday, right? So everything in the universe is basically split into yin and yang. Yin and yang is nothing more than 2 wording that has been picked out of many wording to represent the 2 buckets. It's just a label on the bucket. So everything in the universe throw into that bucket, then after some time, they feel like 2 bucket is too little, then they make it into 4 bucket. Then they were at the 8 bucket juncture for a very long time. Right, 8 bucket was like enough for the world to respond to. They even have 2 separate versions of the 8 bucket: early heaven version, later heaven version, right? So the one that Skyland, then the one that you are very familiar with, the QiMen, thingy. All these are just wording label on the bucket, nothing more than that. Please don't make it special, right? So now we jump into QiMen. So QiMen decided that they need to have their own bucket as well. So within the trigram bucket, they internally create another 4 more bucket. Right, so within this trigram, so we will sort the bucket again, right? So they have the bucket for door, right, which is represent anything that is action based. Then they got bucket for star, which anything that is circumstantial based. The bucket for deities, which is anything that is intention based. Then they got stamp. Stamp is people based. You can call people or you can call stuff, people stuff based things, right? So but mainly it is basically about people, right? So then we put it under the stamp, right? So that's all the component. So when the component interact with each other, it is like cooking, but they are like different ingredients. It's like you can call the door as the main ingredient. You can call the door like is noodle. What type of noodle they got? 2, 4, 6, 8 type of noodle in this. Then the stars is probably the style of cooking. You got 9 style of cooking. So the deity maybe is the seasoning. You got 10 different seasoning inside, right? So and then the 10 stamp is the 10 separate cook that you can use. So can you see that if you use different noodle, different style, different seasoning, and different cook, the quality of the noodle that come out become different. That's all only, right? So that's all the entire thing is trying to do. Nothing too special, right? So that's why I said that when you're applying this, don't get too sophisticated and don't get too complicated with it, right? Keep it simple. Right, so keep it simple, easy for you to use, because you just want to use it. You are not trying to design. Okay, no need to think until so deep. Right, so come, let's take a look at Yiwood. Right, let's take a look at Yiwood. Right, so Yiwood, if you don't know, this is called Mystique. Is one of the X-Men character. Right, so her special power is that she can change her DNA. Right, so she changed her DNA and become another person. So she's basically somebody who can copy anything. Right, so much like Yiwood, So you guys know that in the story of the QiMen Dunjia, right? So Yiwood is the sister of Jiawood, ma. So the entire idea is Jiawood, don't know how to fight. Right, you say, oh no, Jiawood is the emperor, is the greatest fella, but in the entire story, Jiawood has never fight. Up until the end, the fella rather sacrificed the sister. So Yiwood is the sister to Jiawood, right? So Yiwood is the one that, technically speaking, was able to quell the entire uprising, right? So Geng was here to kill Jiawood to take over the empire, and Yiwood sacrificed herself. Right, so that was the story, right? So in the world of QiMen, Yiwood belonged to the good guy team, right? So the good guy team is Jiawood, Yiwood, Bing, Ting, and Wu. This 5 fella is called the good guy. Right, so they are called the good guy, right? So Yiwood is part of the good guy, right? So Yiwood name is basically called, so the Yi Bing Ting is called the 3 noble, right? So it's called San Qi, right? So we call them the San Qi, right? So this is called the Sun noble. Huh? Not Bing is the sun, man. Please, again, this one is QiMen. This is QiMen bucket. Right, QiMen bucket, QiMen want to label this as the Sun noble, then it's called the Sun noble. Right, it's Sun, Moon, and Star. So Yiwood is called the Sun noble, the Ping fire is called the Moon noble, Ting fire is called the Star noble. Right, so Sun, Moon, and Star, these 3 fella. Alright, so this one is called the Sun noble. So if you are reading classical texts, if anything that written there is Reqi, Sun noble, is referring to Yiwood. Don't go and refer it to Ping fire. Right, Ping fire is called Yue Qi, right? So and then the Ting fire is called Xing Qi, right? So it's all these 3, right? So Sun, Moon, and Star, right? So all these 3 fella, right? So Yiwood, the general characteristic is actually very, very similar. It's a direct copy from the Bazi Yiwood, right? So anything that's Bazi from the Yiwood side is basically available for this. So the main thing about Yiwood is that is uncanny ability to adapt. Now, so how much more can you say that the adaptability of Yiwood is that the Yiwood is willing to sleep with the enemy? The fella who is all out to kill your brother, you are willing to, get married and, sleep with the fella. Like how much more do you think, Yiwood is willing to bend? Ultimate already lah. Right, so the fellow who's gonna come and kill you, and your family and kill everybody, so it's like AKA Kai Candice gonna start okay. That is how great Yiwood is, At the same time, you also, need to see that how dangerous is this particular person, right? So this particular Yiwood. So now again, you need to take a look at it from both spectrum. Right, so from the good guy spectrum is that she sacrificed herself to ensure that the empire is able to continue. How noble is that, right? So that would be the entire theme. If it was written by the good guy clan, right? So good guy clan, right? So but if you are on the other side, this particular Yiwood is like the epi art of scheming, right? You would love to see Jiawood. Yes, you would like to see Jiawood. Jiawood don't really like to see Yiwood one. It's not a mutual one, right? So Yiwood will often use Jiawood as a climbing pole to reach a higher place. Right, so now characteristic of Yiwood is actually, now this word is invented by me, by the way, just invented. So Yiwood characteristic is bendable, right? So I call this bendy. BEN DY, bendy. Right, it is not an actual English word, please, just a joke word that I create. It's so it's their flexibility of being able to reshape itself to suit the situation is very high, right? So that's why, if you are doing a reading and if there's a Yiwood there, it is a very high chances that you need to go through a very networking session, right? Your ability to network with people, right? So now when you're networking with people, it's just basically adjusting your status to the level of the people that you want to network with. That's all only, right? So in networking is basically being likable, is the ability to connect with people, right? So which means that you got commonality with them, right? So all those kind of things is to make yourself feels like you are part of them. That's all networking is, right? So then when they are part of them already, this is where you start the influential thingy, right? So yeah, Yiwoods can be dangerous for enemy of Jiawood, right? So Ji should be careful of Yiwood. Ji should be careful of Yiwood. Right, so if you take a look at it, the Ji is the wife of Jiawood, right? Jia Ji combine, right? You guys know Jia Ji combine, Jia and Ji combine. Right, then Yiwood is the counter of the Ji, right? So so somehow the sister of the brother is not too good. I also don't know how we're gonna explain the situation to people, but anyway, right? So the entire idea of having a Yiwood is that you would have superior nobility in terms of your ability to connect, leverage, network on other people. That is basically the thing. So that's why when you take a look at Yiwood that time, it is a signal that your situation, there is this connective element that you can use, right? So there's a connective element that you can actually use to benefit yourself, in this particular situation. Right, so again, you need to take a look at it from see which side of it that you are looking at. If you're from the other side, it's a extremely manipulative person has walked into the room. Oh no, the fella is not manipulative. Yiwood is the good guy, and no such thing. In actual QiMen practice, there's no such thing as good guy, bad guy. There is only, this is the given situation. The best action that you can take at this current moment belong to this thing. There are no good and bad in battle. There's no such thing as good and bad. When you fire the arrow, out, to the other enemy, is there anything as a good arrow, right? It's either their arrow shoot you or your arrow shoot them only, right? So it's either your shot cut them or their shot cut you. Where got either good or bad, right? right? In battle, there's no such thing as good and bad. Make sense, right? So no, please, so that's why, you know, sometimes when you are starting off with your studying or understanding, you know, you might need the conceptual of, you know, an auspicious versus an, you know, inauspicious, because that's how a brain usually work. You know, the brain always, you know, so duality, right? You always segregate stuff, correct? So when I ask you to neutralize everything, right, it's very difficult for the brain to go through the process of trying your best not to segregate stuff. So that is very normal, right? So that's very, very super normal, right? So this is basically your Yi Wood, right? So if you take a look at any classical text or whatever it is, they will give you a bunch of listing of stuff for you to take a look at it, right? So when you look at it, you need to basically just distill the essence of the stuff, right? So Yi Wood just represent network. That's it. You know, it's the entire idea about being able to connect with people, that connectivity that you have with people, right? So it's a very strong leveraging stuff, right? So that's why, you know, when you see you that time, is a lot is about, you know, that noble connection that basically come, external assistance that come. And again, Yi Wood is the one that dissolve problem. The entire thing coming in, you know, Geng metal, you know, kill everybody, right? In the end, it was the Yi Wood that was able to bind with the Geng metal, right? So Yi and Geng is a combine. Understand? Yi and Geng is a combine, so that's why Yi was sent to bind the Geng metal, so that the Geng metal do not attack the Jia Wood, right? So now if you see this, right, it is just the very rudimental rules when you're applying. Even in Bazi is the same. So in Bazi, when you have a clash, you can introduce a combine to dissolve the clash, right? So like this here is the snake ear, correct? Right? So snake ear will clash with pig, so your Bazi chart got pig, right? So you can actually introduce the combine of the snake, which is the monkey, right? Monkey and snake is combined, right? So you can actually introduce monkey, you know, inside, you know, so which means that you can have a friend which is monkey, right? Or more practically is that your house, there's a sector called monkey sector. You can actually activate the monkey sector to combine away the snake. It's called combine away the snake, right? So that the monkey will take the snake and go somewhere else to play, you know, it doesn't come and attack you. Same thing here, right? So you ask the Yi Wood to combine away the Geng. So why does the Yi Wood can combine away with the Geng? Mainly it's because the Yi Wood ability to network with people. So which means that probably the Yi Wood itself doesn't really have a solution, but the Yi Wood knows somebody who has the solution. The Yi Wood know someone. So now come back to here, know someone, you know, it could be the Yi Wood know somebody who has dirty information about this particular person. It could be that situation, right? You would know somebody who is, you know, a much more bigger size than the other person, your problem. So that's why, you know, the solution doesn't necessarily mean that the solution is going to be something that is, you know, noble. Doesn't say that, right? So it just tells you that Yi Wood can find the solution for you, right? So if you take a look at it, you know, the description usually for Yi Wood is somebody who is very weak, like the dandelion flowers, right? So, you know, it's really, you know, it's like flowers. You take a look at it, flowers is very, very weak. But when you take a look at it, right, so a lot of people like to take care of flowers. You know, so oh no, don't go and attack it, you know, the flower, it's like that, right? So it's sacrificial, right? So no, if you are working with someone, and then you see that the person box has a Yi Wood inside, it's actually indicating that you're working with a person who is highly sacrificial. Probably lack of confidence come from Yi Wood's ability to go here, there, you know, it doesn't seem to have a backbone, very weak standing, right? So it gives people the perception of this particular person is very submissive, as in not dangerous, right? So you would not have that particular what we call 该心, right? So the sense of threat, right? So there won't be any sense of threat that you have to please, so which means that very easy, it would very easy penetrate into your network because the person is labeled as not dangerous. So the question is this person really not dangerous or not? Alright, so when you see wood situation, is it really, right? So no, it's also associated with the kindness, right? So rewarding good deed, very sympathetic, very understanding. You see, all these character basically build up a person that is very personable, right? Very easy to connect with, right? So they're very flexible, very adaptive. At the same time, you want to call it fickle also can, right? So which means that whichever party offer the biggest reward, or offer the biggest what we call return, right? So Yi Wood will naturally gravitate towards that particular direction. Do you feel that it's wrong for Yi Wood to do that? For survival purpose. So you see, to protect the empire from being attacked, she sacrificed herself, to the Geng, right? So you don't even know what does the Geng look like, right? So she's willing to go and marry over there, just to make sure that the empire is intact, right? So this how much sacrifice that the person is. So that's why I know a lot of time when you do reading, right? So when you see the Yi Wood that time, it indicate that the person that you're working with is a very sacrificial person, so they like this sort of characteristic, right? So they don't like the characteristic which is very brass, those very aggressive. They don't like those type of characteristic at all, right? So it's pretty simple, right? It's not something that's very difficult to understand, right? So that's why when you're doing reading that time, more importantly is that in a QiMen reading, right? In a QiMen reading, you have to read the entire box. That is a bit of the challenging side for a newbie, right? So if you are learning this, you need to read the entire box. So usually the first big challenge is actually identifying which box to read. That one require a bit of a work, right? So to identify which box to read. So once you identify which box to read already, the reading become very easy, right? So because again, it's only 4 separate components, and depending on what you're looking for, it's quite easy to identify the actual component, right? So then the thing is that you need to be able to read the entire box, the situation for the entire box. So please don't go and read it. Oh, this box got chief. This is the favorite way of reading. This box got chief. Everything is okay already. So now the situation. If the chief is together with Geng, right, everything is not okay. Right, chief is useless against Geng. Okay, chief is useless against Geng. So if you see that the Geng is together with Yi Wood, good, right? It's a binding. So the Geng cannot what we call cannot exert is aggressive, cannot cause trouble, right? So if the Geng is together with it, cannot cause trouble, right? So the cute and lovable rabbit. Right, the cute and lovable rabbit, yeah, right. So it's those type of situation, you see that fella is is harmless, this movie may be a bit too old. Gremlins, right? So you guys know Gremlins, right? So Gremlins, before they turn into Gremlins, which got a few things, it's like after midnight cannot feed the fella, right? So if after midnight you feed the fella will turn into this particular monster called Gremlins. So before they turn into Gremlins, they're called Mogwai, right? So Chinese called Mogwai. Is very small, little furry, very cute little fella. So if you put water on it, it will multiply. So if any one of these, eat after midnight, it will turn into a full-fledged monster. Probably, Yi Wood is like that, lor. Labubu. Yes, Labubu is a monster to your wallet, right? Multiply globally, right? So it's very much like Yi Wood, right? Yi Wood, you put water on it, it will multiply one more. You put water on it, it will multiply, right? So that's the entire general idea when you are dealing with a Yi Wood. Overall, in the again, right? So because we just want to stick to the convention of the box of QiMen Tunjia, Yi Wood. If you see Yi Wood, it usually would indicate a positive circumstance to whatever that you are trying to do through the process of networking. right? So when you see it would, that time you know that, oh no, I would be able to network, or the person that I'm working with, they have the network and connectivity to be able to allow me to be successful, right? So it would in network, it can be difficult to know which side it is on. Now, so again, right, a lot of time when you are doing a reading, at least the modern way of reading, the modern way of reading, basically the enemy has been removed already, right? So the modern way of reading is basically you are the one who's gonna execute certain action. So you are the one, right? So if you are the one, cannot be you're the bad guy. Correct or not? Right. So you are the one, right? So when you're opening up and reading the chart, right, you are reading a circumstance for yourself, right? So you cannot be the bad guy, right? Make sense? Correct, right? It's cannot be the bad guy, right? So that's why, Yiwu is basically talking about you lah, right? Can quietly combine with enemy, you won't know. Yeah, correct. So that's why I say that the direction that you are doing the reading, the circumstance that you're doing, so which means that a lot of time we said the quality of the question that you ask is very, very crucial, right? So very, very crucial. When we see the box no good, right? How should we turn you see, why you want to turn the situation? If your box is no good, mean that the actual meaning is that your plan sucks. That's it. If you open up the chart is no good, is whatever stupid thing that you have in your brain are bad. Change it lah, that's all. Finish. Which means that, your current plan doesn't work. If you execute, you're gonna whack the wall. Change to a new plan lah. That's it. Finish. Done. Why need to be, so susah? Do you believe me when I say Geng cries easily? Geng cries easily, unless this particular Geng is surrounded with a lot of water. So unless it's surrounded with a lot of water, or else no, I don't think it cries easily. Geng is more expressive. Okay, Geng is more expressive. Okay, right. So yeah, right. So Geng is very larger than life. 敢做敢为敢当. It's just a sign of confidence, right? So but anyway, back to this particular thing, right? So depending how you basically does the reading, right? Because under normal circumstances, when you do the reading, that time is that it comes in a format of, I would like to do this. If I do this, what would be the situation, right? So yeah, that's basically how a reading is basically being done. A lot of people ask question, right? Is in that particular circumstance, right? So those are questions that is a little bit, more direct, but the quality of the question not really that good, right? So a lot of time is that, the better question is that, this is the things I want to do, what are the possible options for me? That is a bit of a higher quality question, because by asking that, then you know how to rearrange the reading to see what are the possible steps that is possible to do, right? So again, it really depending on how you do, right? So you have to practice, right? So practice, it's the same thing, so it's the same thing with playing with ChatGPT. You throw a dumb question on ChatGPT, you get dumb answer. Make sense? Okay. Now, I really love ChatGPT, to give it a bad question, get bad answer. All right. So this is about how to ask correctly. It's really like battle, it's like going through a battle itself, right? So in going through a battle, right, you cannot ask that question that if I send my soldier like 5,000 kilometers away for the battle, will I win? Do you think that any sort of leader will ask this sort of question? A lot of people ask this sort of question. Oh, I want to start a business, does my business is going to be successful? This is like asking, I send my soldier 5,000 kilometers to that particular direction, right? Do you think my soldier will win? They will probably die before reaching there, right? Because you don't have a plan. You don't even know what the hell you're doing. So very simple. When you ask me business successful, I sit down, ask you a few questions, right? You cannot answer, your business is gone. No need to say anything. Ask you a few costing questions also, you cannot tell me. How much does this cost? How much does this cost? You cannot even tell me what is your costing, you know, what is your team structure gonna be, what is your business plan gonna be, you know, how is your business model gonna work, and all these things you don't know, and you can ask, you know, will my business be successful? Fail. No need to open QiMen chat. No need to open QiMen chat. QiMen chat sure say you fail. Okay, right? So you know there, right? So then probably you know your chart there got a Yiwood there. You know it's like okay, what you can do is that you know you can go and network first, lah, right? Took a paid reading and did not know how to ask questions. Right, so the fastest way for you to ask a question is to solve the problem is right in front of your face first. That's it. That's the best way to ask question. Right, so QiMen is actually not designed for long-term projection. QiMen is designed for next step. Okay, so the way that you use QiMen is to, I'm going to do this, you know, what are the stuff that, you know, is this what I have, you know, what are the stuff it's going to, so that's why you need to be very clear with your next step. What is the next step in charge? Then you ask a QiMen question, then it's good, you know, don't go and ask those questions, you know, will I be forever and ever happy with this relationship? You ask this question with QiMen, sure die one. Right? Because why? Relationship so long, definitely got problem one, right? Makes sense? It's like asking, will I be healthy forever? Right? So like this sort of question, right? No need to ask one. I sure tell you, no. Answer is no. Right? No need to ask this sort of question. Because why? The geng is always in the chart. Right? Logical thinking in a QiMen plate, the geng is always inside the chart. It's a matter of when would the geng meet you only. Confirm the geng will meet you. When the geng will meet you, right? So which means that, you know, whatever that you are doing, definitely there's going to be a failure point. It's about recovering from failure point. That's all only, ma. Nothing more than that. So confirm will fail one, right? So that's why, you know, if you start anything, do anything, and your question is that will I be confirmed success? Answer is no lah. No need to ask QiMen. Okay, no need to ask QiMen. Make sense lah, right? So now this is for your Yiwood, right? So Yiwood is basically, you know, one of it, right? So again, right? So this is called the Sun Noble, by the way, Sun Noble. 热气 Yat-K, right? So no, it's called the Sun Noble. So if you read classical text, it's written there Sun Noble, whatever it is. Great, right? So now the other thing about Yiwood is that, you know, tell you Yiwood is basically your capillary, you know, these are stuff that when you are studying 八字, you know, sometimes you have it, you know, it's capillary, anything that is basically stringy and bendy, you know, capillary, your hair, right? So your hair, you know, so it's basically all Yiwood, you know, your tongue also is basically Yiwood, right? When geng come, right, surround yourself with Yiwood. Yeah, correct. That's a way to basically do so. Right, so when geng come, you know, you also how to connect Sun Noble to Yiwood? Nothing to connect Sun Noble to Yiwood again is the naming convention that was given. Right, so the three noble San Qi, right? So Yi Bing Ding is called the three noble. They are assigned as sun, moon, and also star. That's the three noble. That's their naming convention. Right, so it's like asking, you know, why does the table name as a table? I can't explain to you. Why does ice kacang need to name as ice kacang? You know, can it be named as something else? You know, yeah, right. So you know, the Korean name it as what does the Korean name it? Bingsu. Right. So if you don't like Sun Noble, you know, please feel free to change the name. So, right, it's just a nickname. Right, it's just a nickname. Right. So it's easy for you to do. Which sector direction you would belong? Southeast. So southeast sector. So southeast sector. No, so now this one you want to know which is belong to which, right? You just open up your compass. Your compass actually has it, as in your lopun. Right. So you know you just lopun, right? All got direction one, right? Okay, right. So all of them have basically the direction. You can do that, right? So when the outcome box is bad, right? What should we do? To change the situation, stop doing the thing that when you want to do lah. GG already tell you already. Your plan sucks. Stop doing your plan. That's it. Right, your plan is basically piece of shit. Throw your plan into the rubbish bin, redo a new plan. Done. Whatever that you're trying to do is wrong. That's it. Got it. Stop doing that. Go do something else. Done, no? Why is it so difficult? Right? So it's not difficult, right? It's just that you are stubborn. right? You're stubborn. I want to do this. I must do this. I must open a coffee shop and be successful. Right? Because you think that oh, I'll be the next Luckin Coffee. Now Luckin Coffee is collapsing already. So how? Labubu also is collapsing already. Right. Okay, right. So just same thing, So as long as you see that the box is bad, basically it's telling you your plan sucks. That's all only. That's all only. So which means that in the war, it said that I want to use arrow to basically shoot. The plan said that if you shoot arrow, it's not gonna work. So how? Use another method lah. That's it, right? Right. Climb on Jia for sunrise, right? So whichever box Geng show in the annual chart, then is to stop focusing in the area. That would be a quick way to do so. Therefore, right? Yes, that would be a quick way to do so, right? So a modern application of any of this Chinese metaphysics is basically just avoid the troublesome box. That's it. Same thing, if you're reading 八字, if let's say that your let's say the career palace is basically in a bad state, right? It's basically just telling you this year don't focus on your career. That's it, right? Don't be stubborn, right? So when we said don't focus on career, doesn't mean don't go to work. It means that you clock in, you clock out, you do your own responsibility. You be good boy. 9 o'clock in the morning you ka-chiang, then 5 o'clock you ka-chiang. That's it. That's your year. Right, so then you focus on other things. So QiMen also is the same. Take a look at the box. That particular box not really that good, then don't go there lah. Right, so if you know that that place is having a massive traffic jam because there's a trailer that is just topple itself, and everything will spoil inside the thing for the next maybe 10 hours, they're not going to be able to clear it. Would you drive your car there? That's the question that you're asking. Would you go that place? You won't, right? By normal logic, if you open up the news feed on your things and you were planning to go, let's say planning to go KLCC, and you found out that there is this it's very recent in Malaysia, they are trying to do a gathering to ask the our prime minister to resign. So yeah, they're trying to do that, right? So and you see that the gathering is at that area. Would you go there? You already have the news, right? So just remember, you just open up the feed saying that oh, traffic, a major traffic accident, what we call Cameron Highland landslide, road blockage. Would you still be so stupid to say that I want to go Cameron Highland right now? You won't, correct or not? You won't, right? By whatever logic it is that you want. Right, so even if you, let's say that you open up, right now there's a lot of traffic cam, right? You see that, oh no, right now that particular road is full of car right now. The traffic cam is showing you a lot of traffic right now. Would you at that particular moment, let's start the journey right now and join the traffic jam? You will not do that. It's normal logic. But I don't know why when you look at the QiMen chart tells you that the thing that you're gonna do is like a piece of shit. You're still gonna ask the question, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? Don't fix it, just abandon. Right. Luckin Coffee in China for stuff. Right. Mistook Luckin Coffee in China for Starbucks. Luckin Coffee now like to sell coconut juice base. Don't know how difficult to do. Right. Okay, right, guys, that's it. Right, so this is your Yeet Wood, right? So again, overall good guy. At least in the QiMen world, right? So networking, able to connect with people, very sacrificial, so all those kind of good stuff is there, right? So use it like if you see it, usually your result won't be that bad, right? So your result won't be that bad, and it is usually achieved through one of the networking methods. So which means that you get introduced to somebody who has the solution for you. Right, so you're gonna find someone who has the solution, somebody who has the resource. You will be meeting up with someone who know, right? So who is the enemy of Yiwood? Sin metal, right? Sin metal is the enemy of Yiwood, right? So like you see, in the story, Sin metal is basically the assassin team, right? Now, so Yiwood want to play networking. Do you think the assassin team is gonna play around with you? No, not gonna play around with you. Straight will kill you. QiMen said Yiwood is sacrificial. Lack of confidence. I don't like such description for Bazi. How to change? Why you want to change? Right. Why you want to change it? Okay. Right. So don't need to change it lah. Right. So don't need to do any changing. Right. So when we say something is lack of confidence, it's because you are willing to change your direction. That's it. That's all. Right. So the idea is that confident people don't change their direction, but the success of Yiwood is exactly their willingness to adopt other people's viewpoint. They don't have their own viewpoint. What's wrong with it? Right. What's wrong? Because the important thing right now is to get to your destination. It's not important that whether you stand on your own ground. If you stand on your own ground, your ground is wrong. What's the point? Right. Every single thing also is not the point one. Like for example, very confident, but you are in the losing team, very confident, also no use. Right, so Sin Metal would be the stronger guy for in front of Yiwood. You want to call stronger? I also don't call stronger. Right, so I also won't call this as stronger. So Yiwood Day Master will be killed by Sin Day Master. Sin Day Master won't play those, Cantonese called Lao Lao Ling Ling. Right, so Yiwood is very Lao Lao Ling Ling. Right? Lao Lao Ling Ling mean that change here, change there, right? So because sin, the basic characteristic of the sin is precise and fast. Precise and fast. So Yiwood is let's see how, let's wait around and see, maybe there's a turning in the situation. Sin Metal will straight away walk off already. Right? Sin Metal won't spend time playing with Yiwood. That's it. Alright, so Sin Metal is not there to destroy Yiwood. It's just that the game that Yiwood play, Sin Metal don't play. That's it, Sin Metal just, walk off. It's basically just delete you. That's all. Nothing wrong with it, man. Right, Yiwood Day must take you by Sin Metal. No, I won't. Alright, so don't dare that. It's just that the mode of operation for these two person, at least on the basic level, is very different. Right, so Yiwood is trying to connect with you. Sin Metal is very precise. So Sin Metal know very clearly what the hell that the Sin Metal want. So the Sin Metal, when it does not get what it want, the Sin Metal would very decisively cut off the relationship. Okay, right? So Sin Metal don't keep relationship, what we call just in case. They don't. Right? So they cut off the relationship. Where else he would, they would still, put in a string there. Right? Right, how to control and counter Sin Day Master, like that, until end of year also cannot finish. Right? Thing will kill it too. Not necessary lah, right? Not necessary lah, because it would produce thing, right? So it would produce intelligence. Your network will produce intelligence. Intelligence mean, info, fire thing is your ability to see things. Your ability to see things, improve the way that you assess the situation. Right, so same in Bazi, right? Sin Metal, you would then, one sector to keep separate in life. I also won't call keep separate lah. Every single sector also is useful, right? So every single sector is useful. It's just a different part of your life. Even if the sector which is having problem is actually telling you that that is your, you want to call your weakness. Okay, you want to call your weakness, So you should address your weakness every now and then, right? Every now and then. At least you need to acknowledge that that particular side is your weakness. You need to at least have the acknowledgement so that, you could start off with the journey of at least acknowledging and understanding your weakness. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go and fix it. I'll just tell you first. Right? So because nowadays, if that part is your weakness, hire someone to do it. That makes bigger sense. Okay, then you trying to, but if you got time, nothing to do, really, whatever, you go and learn up some skill set that basically try to cover that particular weakness, it's fine. Right, I can see, right? So everything you're supposed to know, everything, right? You is fickle-minded. in a way, right? In a way, right? So, but you need to see that, you know, Ewood is just very opportunistic lah, right? So opportunistic means that, you know, if just typical, if you put water in this particular side, you will see that the Ewood grow to that side lah. Then when you see the water, you put this side, the Ewood will grow to this side, right? So, you know, do you call this fickle-minded? It's also called yes, ma. Wherever got thing, it grows to that particular direction, ma. Right? So whereas if you compare to jiawood, right? Jiawood, you don't see that, you know, the tree is there. You put water here, you don't see the tree. You don't see the tree suddenly grow over to that direction. You don't see it that way, right? So jiawood, you won't see that, right? So whereas Ewood, you know, you will see, right? So even, you know, in the entire day, you will see that the flower will change the direction towards the sun. And that's in sunflower, you know, morning here, evening there. That's where the fickle-minded thingy come in. Right, so which means that Ewood, anything wrong, right, will siam one, zao lo, run. You know, the entire thing is about Ewood is self-preservation. Save own self first. Okay, save own self. Me no die, everything can talk, which is not wrong, right? So Chinese got this term called 留得青山在，哪怕冇柴燒. As long as you got the forest, you don't worry about firewood. So which means that as long as you don't die, can fix one. Ewood is very adaptive to that particular way. You know, whatever happened, right? Preserve my own life first. Whatever the suffering, the sacrifice, as long as I don't die, as long as, you know, I still live, there is a way for me to turn it around. That's what it would basically represent. That type of resiliency, which is not wrong one. I just tell you first, which is not wrong one. Okay, right? So it's just that, again, depend on circumstance. Sometimes, you know, we may say that this is a traitor also. Right? Can improve your business and someday overcome it. Yeah, I know. Right? So yes, you can do that. You know, you can basically do that. It's just that nowadays in the modern term, we usually try to tell you not to waste too much of your time on weaknesses. Rather, you enhance your value, which is, you know, your strength. You enhance your value, right? So you offer, you make your value bigger, you magnify your value, right? So, you know, your weakness, let somebody else's, because your weakness is going to be somebody else's strong point. That's how the world works, right? Right. So you want to run a company, right? You cannot be someone who, you know, finance is you, sales is you, operation is you, you know, everything is you, you know, it's basically one-man business. You want a business to go big, you cannot have this sort of situation, right? You cannot have Superman inside your team. Everybody need to be, you know, their own separate department, right? You're this person who take care of this, that person take care of that. You know, if you want to grow big, you know, which is AKA call, you want a skill, right? You want a skill in to do that, right? So, you know, yeah, one leg kick lah, cannot, right? So cannot do one leg kick out. So you want a skill, you need to be able to go. And Ewood is a very, very good character when it comes to the ability of scaling, because they are willing to work with all parties, even the enemy. Yeah, no, even enemy also they are willing to work with. So what else? Who else that they cannot work with? Right? So they are willing to morph themselves, you know, into anything. You know, they basically are okay with having no personal identity. Good, ma? Right? Ultimate survivor. Right? Anywhere you go, also the fellow will survive. Makes sense, right? Okay, good. Wow. Yeah. Who is this? Later first. Alright, so that's it. Take care, guys. Right? You know how to delegate your weakness and power up your strength. Yeah, correct. Right? Yoga, you are very right. Right? So the entire idea is really that, you know. So I already know this is the part that, you know, I'm really crappy at, right? Give it to someone else to do. Okay? Give it to someone else to do. While you give it to someone else to do, you know, you also learn in the process. You learn in the process, right? So it's just that, you know, this one you let the person, but you still learn, right? So, you know, you still learn, you know, you still improve yourself. You know, one day, you know, you will be able to handle the situation, right? At least you just want to handle the situation. You don't need to be expert in it, right? But eventually hate own identity. Maybe lah, I don't know lah. Depend lah, right? Depend, right? So at least in the QiMen world, there's no such thing as hating own identity because everybody is just a character. Okay, alright. So see you guys lah. Bye.